Hello and welcome back. I'm Almerac. This is game 4 from the Platinum 2 group in the 6th season of the Intermezzo Championship. So this is my 3rd game from the group. Thank you to everybody for making it back for this game, for the likes, the subscriptions, and even the constructive criticism. It helps me to keep doing this and to find ways to improve. So thank you for all of that. And now let's take a look at the standings going into this game. Here we are back at the CGE Intermezzo Championship tournament page in the Platinum 2 group. And after 2 games, we are in 2nd place with 10 points. Now everyone else has completed more games, well, I guess except IirionClaus, but we've completed 2. Ricicle's in 1st place, but has completed 4 games and has 11 points. And Tacusto 2 is in 3rd place, but has completed 3 games and has 7 points. So we're in a pretty good spot here in 2nd place with 10 points and 2 wins. And now we will go into the 3rd game against Tacusto 2 and IirionClaus. So let's see how that game goes. Red takes Engineering Genius. Blue takes Hammurabi. And we are up now. So we can take Roman Roads, Boudica Stockpile, but not really, because Boudica is not going to be good generally in 3 and definitely not in the last spot here. So Roman Roads is great with Rich Land. That would be a nice start. The other option is let Roman Roads fall off. We take the library. And then 4 cards will come in. And, maybe no more wonders come out. So Pyramids and Stonehenge are the only ones left. Well, sorry, and Colossus. So they could take Colossus, but we could take the library away. So if we took Roman Roads and Rich Land, then Frugality, Moses, Colossus, and the library are on 2 for red. And library's on 2 for blue. So red might end up with the library and Engineering Genius, potentially. Although blue with Hammurabi would probably take the library. So I think I want to take the library away here. We'll let Roman Roads fall off, and we'll see what sort of wonders show up. So Alex comes out, and Stonehenge. So something came out for everybody, I guess. All right, red elects Boudica. Builds a bronze, increases population. And then blue elects Hammurabi, increases population, builds a bronze, takes stockpile, and takes Rich Land. And then it's my turn. Oh, and the castle comes out. So we have a Magic Castle that someone's gonna get. Blue will have to take it for 2, but that may be worth it for them. So our turn. We can build a bronze and then choose a leader. I guess we're gonna probably choose Moses or Ashoka here. We probably can't wait till next turn, right? Because, well, we don't have anything really to use our actions on anyway. So we can take Ashoka and then hold on to him a little bit longer. So we'll just have to use an extra action to elect him when the time is right. The other option is we take Moses and increase our population and elect him. So we'll have an extra action next time to grab something. You know, 2 of them are used up to some degree, but maybe there'll be something to take. But really, it just comes down to Ashoka or Moses here. Yeah. There's Moses. I mean, there's also Alex here. You know, Moses, I don't know, to deal with happy faces. There's the Great Wall and St. Pete's, I suppose, are options to help with that. You know, Ashoka gets started slowly, and we're kind of would be starting even more slowly here, because we can only take 1 card next turn, probably, unless we don't build our lab. Then we could take a couple and maybe get Ashoka going more quickly. Alex here, you know, the penalty, yeah, I mean, it makes him a little expensive for CAs, but like the penalty for getting him in later is not a big deal. And it might help keep Boudica weaker for a turn until we can use him, which is always a good thing. So I think Alex is not too bad here also. Yeah, I think it's close here, really, between maybe Moses, not quite so much between these two. Given this situation, I think I'll take Alex and go with that. All right, red reveals development of civil life, builds a lab, increases pop, prestige of Colossus, and frugality. And blue takes Universitas really early. That's going to be great. Increases pop, plays stockpile, takes irrigation. And now it's our turn. All right, so then on our turn, we're probably going to elect Alex, probably going to increase population. What else are we going to do? Cartography? It's kind of interesting. We're holding historic. So we can put that in. Once we have the library, we can hold more colonization cards. Gives us a little bit of strength in the spot we're in. Takes it away from red, so they don't have Colossus and cartography. We can put Foray in as well and use the cartography strength plus Alex's strength to help get it if we keep him around for a while. And then we could take Richland. We could take Drama, but it feels a little early to take that for me. I think we'd be, yeah. Or I wouldn't mind just building a stage of the library to help get that done over Richland. But so let's go ahead and put historic territory in. Let's see what we get. Development of planning. So we do civil life first, but what are my choices here? Markets, trade routes, science. Okay. Markets, trade routes, science. I don't know. I think I want to build this lab and then one of each, maybe? Or just 2 science. And then, well, interesting. So if we did do, I mean, I don't know. We could develop cartography, increase population, and elect Alex. Arguably, we don't need to elect Alex yet if we don't plan on getting rid of him right away, which we may want to do, but we may not if we want to try to... If we want to use him to help win Foray, we might not do that. So I still need 2 resources to finish the library here. So taking, what is it, trade routes doesn't help too much because it only gives me 1, and that's not enough to finish. I mean, we are going to have, I guess we're spending science and civil life, we are going to, or on cartography, we're going to get more science here though. But I think probably will not get cartography. I probably will build the lab and take trade routes. Is that what it's called? Yeah, development of trade routes. Take cartography. Elect Alex and build a stage of the wonder. I think I'll go with this. Are there any questions about that? I mean, I'd like to have rich land, but we're not going to get it. So do I want I can't get another population. I mean, what does it look like if we did population instead? And then that. So that's not really good. I guess then we build one of those. So we just like traded a resource for food, and that's probably not ideal. We could take 2 resources instead of 1 of each, but that doesn't seem right either. So I think we'll go with the lab, we'll go with trade routes, we'll take cartography, we'll increase population, elect Alex, and we will build a stage of the wonder. It seems fine to me. And then we can end the turn. Game not super helpful with the cartography, unfortunately. Alright, red reveals development of agriculture. Frugality, stage of Colossus takes Himeji Castle and builds a warrior. And blue does not play an event. 2 stages of Universitas, increases pop, takes monarchy. And it's our turn. So Eleanor shows up a bit early. We have engineering genius. I think we want to put foray or border conflict in. Probably border, probably foray at this point. I think there's a reasonable chance we can be second strongest here. I don't know if we can be strongest though. I'm not quite ready to get... I don't think I want to do my Alex token here. But let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and put foray in. All right, we got 2 resources, so we can finish this. Develop cartography. No one's gonna be real happy with rats yet, but I guess we could also take Great Wall. Don't really need theology. Could do an urban growth for something, don't know what yet. Take frugality for the food next turn. We could get 2 out next turn if we did that. Or swordsman. And then I think I'll take frugality. Could do swordsman. But the extra food will help. Let's see, so I'll have maybe 5, 6. So I can get 2 tokens, maybe 7 with frugality. So it would be close. We might be able to get 8 food. So 3 pop without frugality. With frugality, maybe we can get 4 out. But it'll be close. We can get 2 out next turn. I'm not sure if that's useful though. Yeah, not frugality. Probably swordsman. And I think this will work for now. Got 1, that's good. The red does an aggression against blue. Enslave, and it is successful. It's good for red. They finish the Himeji Castle, take warfare, and research it. So that's formidable. That's for sure. Blue takes knights and finishes Universitas. So they can maybe get into knights and recover from that. We probably want to keep Alex, I think, with this situation. Border conflict might be scary. Barbarians is probably fine. I don't think we're going to catch up. And what events do we have left? I mean, I guess it would be good to know what that event's going to be, and we still want to push Foray out while we have Alex, so it's probably good to try an event here. Border conflict doesn't... Yeah, barbarians is probably just safer here. I don't think we're going to be stronger. So let's put that in. Development of settlement. So we get a population, which I think is helpful. And then what can we do on our turn? So we probably want to get stronger. And increasing population then to get out of corruption. With 3 actions left, I think I'm interested in Iron Rich Land and Engineering Genius. I think you could argue Code of Laws here as well. So we could swap out Code of Laws for Engineering Genius. We're not getting St. Pete's. Machu Picchu is the one left here. Otherwise, we're holding on to it for one of these, which is fine. We just don't know how long that's going to be. So it could look like that. I mean, we have decent science. We're holding 15. So that's several rounds till we have enough science to do all of that. We are hopefully getting some food or resources with Foray. Food, yeah. So yeah, I think I'll go with Code of Laws. I'm not going to be able to use either one for a while. And I'm going to be pretty good with resources soon. Maybe I'll get something from Foray. And civil action would be nice. I mean, we could always get the next one. We also may get a government. So, you know, those are reasons to take Engineering Genius. And you are certainly going to use it on one of these. So it's not a bad investment. Yeah, so I'll go with Code of Laws here. And, oh, I don't have to discard a card. So that's into my turn. I got another colonization card, which will be good for this historic territory when it comes. Red reveals historic territory. All right, so red did not do an aggression on blue, unfortunately. And if we had hoped to, which we probably wouldn't end up doing anyway, we're not going to be able to if we bid, but we did want this territory. So we can probably go to 5 and then rebuild a warrior or a swordsman next turn. But we would like this happy face. This is the whole reason we built cartography, basically, right? Okay, so we'll bid up to 5 here. We get it for 3. It's one of these, and that's it. All right, we keep our cards, which is probably good. Red takes Isabella and elects her. Takes St. Pete's, builds a warrior. Blue develops monarchy. Takes Columbus and elects him, builds a warrior. Increases pop, takes urban growth. So elected to not grab that iron. And now it's our turn, and we're having connection issues. So we have Barbarians and Foray in the deck. And yeah, we actually really should not have played that Barbarians because we wanted to win this historic territory at some point. I'm not sure which order we played them in now, but now we are going to get hit by that Barbarians. And I don't know that we are going to be able to do anything about that. I don't think we can get strong enough here. I mean, about the best we can do is something like that. And we're tied. We're still among the 2 weakest when red plays an event. They may get stronger with a tactic if they come across one. But then we would be stronger. We might be able to dodge it. And I don't know if it's worth trying to play those games. I don't know if we want to put all our resources in here. Like, the alternative is we just put border conflict in, hope for foray, and then we can get Alex's token out. I mean, this is really the last chance we have to do it. Almost. I mean, we may not get another round. I wasn't having problems a second ago, and now getting a spinning globe. I'll come back and finish when that's better. So there's a couple of options. Connections fixed now. And neither of the options am I too happy with. One is we play Alex. And now we need to, if we want to defend, we have to be within 3. Because of Meiji Castle, I can sacrifice 1. So it'd be something like this. Now we can defend. Blue cannot. And then I probably would take knights and bread and circuses and then grab Saladin next turn. I think Saladin's just going to have more value for longer than Barbarossa. We're basically going to use Barbarossa twice and then not be able to use him, most likely. We get 2 of these out, lose 2, then we wouldn't make food, would be able to use them. At least with what we have. So I'd probably do this. I'm holding a lot of science and not producing a lot, but if we do get a knight tactic, that would help. Bread and circuses to fix happiness. Hopefully we can get into iron next turn. So yeah, I mean, you could just grab Saladin now and elect him, but there's not much point really. I mean, you wouldn't, yeah, I mean, that just doesn't work. So other option is you don't do Alex and maybe seed border conflict or skip. And now you can just build 1 warrior and you're fine. So you don't need to research this. We can take knights in case they become useful. Can't get bread and circuses though this way. Probably would increase population in case there's rats in here. Although red is not increasing population, so you'd think there's probably not rats in there. Then from here, I don't know. I don't know what you do then. I mean, you could do that. Get that going. You still don't get bread and circuses, and it's going to be an issue soon. Maybe get this one though. The next one. Red grabs this one. It's going to be 2 for blue. And they probably want it. We have Pierre. So probably if I don't take this one, I'm not going to get one. Would be my guess. So we'd want to prioritize that. So like, what do we do that maybe? But now we can't develop most of our stuff. We won't need bread and circuses quite yet, but we might want to get into it. So that might be fine science-wise. Doesn't seem like Code of Laws is the priority for science right now to me, though. And I think there's just a very good chance that we would not get Alexander's token in this option. And what did we save? We saved some science on swordsman, so we get to see if we draw a tactic first. Like that's pretty important. If we get a knight tactic, we wouldn't want to have swordsman. And this helps us wait for that. So we could develop the knights. So yeah, I think we probably would lose Alex if we don't use him this turn. We'll be at 7. It just takes... They have to take 1 card and 2 cards, and red doesn't have any. So there's a good chance they would take 1, and blue might sort of force the issue to make me lose him. So I think there's just a good chance, and I don't really want to play this now and risk or increase the chance of barbarians. So we do Alex, and then we can take knights. Can't quite defend. If red wants to attack and sacrifice 1, which seems not that unlikely that they would want to. They have a lot of food, they have a lot of resources, no tactic to break. And in this situation, they could do either one of us and just choose who they wanted. So we just build another warrior and we get out of that situation. And now we're set up for any knight tactic mostly, except heavy cavalry, unfortunately. And And last action would be to take bread and circuses. So we can research iron and upgrade into it next turn. So the question is just whether we build this, and I'm inclined to think we do. We can still get one more population out, which would head over to bread and circuses probably. And then we'll get another one in a few turns. So I think I'll go with this. And we'll keep the defense cards. Oh, well, we need to get rid of one. We'll get rid of the raid. I think, right? I don't think there's going to be a situation where we can raid blue. So, yeah, we'll just get rid of the raid. Well, yeah, that was kind of silly, right? In that we won't draw a tactic since we didn't draw any cards. But if blue's able to play knight and put a tactic out to defend against red, then we can copy it. So maybe we should have, I don't know, risked not playing that in order to possibly get a tactic, but we'll see what happens. Red reveals barbarians. Oh well, we did not avoid it. That doesn't feel good. Increase population twice, take bread and circuses. Alright, so blue does not get bread and circuses. And they increased pop twice. Maybe they didn't have much else to do here. They didn't want the government. Well, blue develops knights and develops builds and plays phalanx. Takes breakthrough for 2, increases population, builds another lab. So more science. Just to get out of corruption, maybe, it looked like. I didn't use the urban growth, which just makes you think corruption. Alright, they put phalanx out, which means we can copy it next turn. That's good. But this unfortunate barbarians thing here means we will lose a person. And we still would like to win that foray, but it's going to be hard. We're going to get 3 more strength next turn when we copy it. I don't know, let's just destroy that for now. We want to get Saladin, but our hand's full, so we could do iron upgrade, I guess, without rich land for now. Like Saladin will be up to 7, which means we're weakest, we won't win foray. And in this situation, red and blue would both probably play events, so foray would probably come out. We can do swordsman, upgrade, Saladin, and increase population. So now we have this population here. We've used a population, used a military action to upgrade. So if that's the case, if we're going to do that anyway, then we might want to think about losing that, increasing population, developing swordsman, building that, taking Saladin. Now we won't be weakest. Blue does not have a great way to get stronger again, so we're looking out for foray. Problem is we can't get iron next turn. But maybe worth it to get foray. We can get another population out. Take some cards, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think we probably need to do this because we know foray's in there. And we don't know what other events red has in there. So it helps with both. And we can justify this because foray's there. I mean, we spent 4 science on the swordsman, so it's worth it if red has other events in here that we don't want to get hit by. We're not in a great place to get hit by those right now. So there's this option, and I guess the other would be something like this. Yeah, I don't know. It's the same resource production. We're just getting iron out sooner. I guess I have to do the other one. We're gonna do that. I take Saladin and elect him, and go with this. So we'll end the turn. We'll choose strength, and that will be our turn. This is not my favorite game so far, but hey, we're ahead, right? We're winning at this point. Okay. Oh, that's not a bad card. Maybe we can help each other out a little bit. Red reveals knowledge of the ancients, which is really good for red, actually. So they probably knew that was in there. Develops spread in circuses, builds one, takes swordsman, researches, upgrades once. Blue does not play an event. Increases population, builds a knight, takes cannon and patriotism. Alright. Now it's our turn. We do not need Shakespeare for anything. We're not going to play an event. So maybe we do international trade agreement. What's our turn look like? Start getting into this iron. Copy this tactic. And then what? Probably can't take alchemy here, right? And no one has alchemy. So scientific method is going to be contested. What else could we look at here? I mean, we can get into alchemy next turn. And we have the library, so, I mean, 5 science is reasonable through the age. Maybe that's good enough. Selective breeding is here. That would be really nice. And wow, blue has irrigation, but no one... One of the irons went through one of the irrigations. Like, no one is very upgraded here. Crazy. So we could take just selective breeding, but we can't research it. With our science, we could take alchemy and reserves and get into that next turn. So we could actually upgrade twice. Or upgrade, maybe, yeah, that's interesting. We could upgrade alchemy twice. Or finish upgrading our iron. Harvard College is here, so we could look for that. No one else... I mean, we have better resource production, arguably, so that might be an option. So there's 2 scientific methods in Harvard College to fix our... And red's probably not taking Harvard College. So maybe there's science options other than alchemy here. Then we can take reserves and frugality. So we would get an extra pop out for that. I'm not sure what we're going to use it on at the moment. So, maybe we don't need it. I kind of like just getting alchemy going next turn. We develop it, upgrade twice, then with reserves we can get iron twice next turn. With alchemy and Interesting. Or iron twice and then alchemy twice. So in case scientific method doesn't come out, we could do this alchemy and it's just costing us 2 food here. 2 food means we would have to get into bread and circuses. And I don't know where we're going to put that right now, which I just said. So this isn't a bad option. I mean, we don't know. That science might show up at the very end and we want to be prepared for that. So I think this is fine. So that, all that being said, if we did international trade agreement and we got a food, it would get us another population, and we give the other resource to blue, I think. Red already has a resource, so I don't really need to give him another one. Blue can use it. And I could use the food definitely more than the resources, so maybe we do that. I mean, or we give blue food. I'm sorry, red food. Blue doesn't need the food, so blue would need the resource probably. Red needs both. But they might just grab this selective breeding, research it and upgrade, then not need it. I mean, I'm probably okay giving blue a resource here. I think the food's going to be helpful for us. Let's just do that. I think we're okay with that. So let's do it. We'll switch. We want a food. Blue gets a resource. I assume he will accept this. All right, blue accepts the pact. So we will get an extra food now. So that's good. Now we can, I think, continue with plan here. Yeah. So we'll end the turn. We want the strength again. Red reveals raiders. All right, that's not too bad. I mean, we mostly knew that was going to happen. Although, yeah, I will see. Take selective breeding. Finish to St. Pete's. So making some pretty good culture now. Blue plays patriotism, takes rifleman, researches, destroys a lab, and builds a rifleman. They are strongest now. Maybe they were a little worried. Red has a lot of events in. I wonder if they gave up on playing strength events. Good news is we will actually get this foray. Because we're going to put in border conflict, right? I think we are. And then what are we going to do? We're going to upgrade this so we're not weakest. So if it does come out, then that's okay. Let's put this in. All right. So yeah, these kind of cancel each other out a little bit. But let's lose a food. And then let's get resources and then play around with this for a sec. This turn for me comes down to sort of 2 options broadly. One is take Republic and try to revolt next turn, and one is don't do that. And if we don't do that, then there's lots of options. We can upgrade those, upgrade that. I don't know, take stuff. We could I think one of the keys though is getting science going as quickly as we can. So we can do that by getting into it this turn, or by setting ourselves up to do it next turn with something like a breakthrough. And we can get 1 CA more with Code of Laws and Alchemy. So we have science going. And we get another CA, so that is helpful. And then, yes, that's one option. The other is we try to get Republic in our hand and get ourselves into a position to revolt next turn. If we want to do that, we have to maybe find a way to not be corrupt. The only way to not be corrupt next turn is to not be strongest. So if we do something like this is pretty good. We're at 12, so my assumption is that red's going to get stronger. We don't know what these are, but we have 1 strength of it in. So red's probably going to get stronger. So we're weaker on blue's turn. So hopefully one of red's events is not strength, but ours is. So we could have to just destroy something. It's not the biggest problem, but it's not great, and it could be worse. There's lots of things you don't want to be the weakest for here. So yeah, if you want to do Republic and you're okay being corrupt, then you have options like that. Now we're stronger. And then we have 2 actions left, and it's a little awkward here. I mean, we can upgrade, and then we have 1 action and not much we can do. We don't know if we'll do alchemy or if we'll get a better science option. We don't know if we'll want food or resources for reserves, so it's a little hard to tell with these, but it is pretty certain we're going to want to get bread and circuses out. I can't imagine us not wanting to do that. And if we happen to get team sports at some point, I'm looking at the wrong cards, but if we happen to get team sports at some point, maybe, or one of these wonders, then maybe. But it seemed relatively safe to get that out. And we can take breakthrough to get ourselves some science, which we're low on. And that seems pretty solid. So I guess the factors are rebel or revolt into Republic or don't. I think I like trying to revolt into Republic here. It seems like if we can pull it off, it will be good. The other question is, do we want to be stronger or not? I think I like being stronger. It slows the pace of this deck down a little bit too, which I think I like. We'll get some information from yellow about if they play an event when they're weaker. If they do, then maybe this is territories. If they don't, it's strength. And so if they just try to get stronger, then blue can't play the event. They can easily get stronger, and then we can do something from there. We can make a decision. I think red can get to 14, and that's really about it for them. And blue, I don't know. They can get a lot stronger. So given that, I think I like being stronger. I think I like going for the revolution, even though we are going to be corrupt, most likely. But I think that will be okay in this situation. So I think we can finish this turn. I think this was a super interesting turn. It could go either direction. It'll be interesting to see how important this turn becomes. We're not really committed to Republic here. So yeah, I guess if we don't go the Republic route, we'll have 4/7 science. We'll have to choose between Code of Laws and Alchemy or something else. So putting this bread and circuses out does impact the next turn plan a little, in that we can't get both of these out with the breakthrough. I mean, the only alternative there is that if we accept that we're going to be corrupt next turn, then instead of the bread and circuses, we could put reserves out for something. Resources. And now we're even less committed to Republic next turn. We can go either route based on how the situation looks. One problem is that we cannot increase population. So if we wanted to go this route, then maybe we go back to here and take 2 food. Play that for resources. Take these 2. So now we can get 1 population out, you know, assuming rats doesn't happen. If rats happens, then it's kind of terrible. But we just wasted, I mean, all we did is waste 1 food, I suppose. But that reserves that we used for resources could have gone to food. And rats seems likely for red. How long have they had that selective breeding? They just took it. Interesting. So if it's their turn and they play an event and it's not rats, then we might have a clue that's rats. So maybe they'll want to play rats and get border conflict out. I don't know. Only 25% chance it would be rats, and then I don't think blue will play an event. So maybe we take that gamble just so that we can go either route here. I don't really like putting bread and circuses out before we need it either. It always feels a little bad. But even if we do increase population, we're going to just have to put it right into bread and circuses anyway. But I guess we wouldn't be... And if we think rats is in there, we're going to want to increase population. And if we do that, we're going to have to put it into bread and circuses. Because then there's rebellion. So, I mean, the next turn plan might not change that much anyway. Because do we feel comfortable with Code of Laws and Alchemy? Doing Code of Laws and Alchemy next turn? I'm not sure we do. I think I like the other plan better. So we get 1 food. Do that. We develop bread and circus to these 2. Yeah, let's do that. We want strength, please. Interesting. Wonder if we can find a way to use that. Red reveals border conflict. Oh, that's nice. So kind of pays off. Getting stronger. Then red develops selective breeding, upgrades, takes urban growth, and Anthony Gowdy. Blue plays an event. It reveals rebellion, which only hurts blue, so they lose 2. So they'll upgrade a warrior, take coal for 1, take navigation, and then increase population to, I guess, just because you can and you don't have to worry about rebellion anymore. Okay, so red played an event. And they were weakest, and they didn't try to get stronger. So you would suspect we don't need to worry about strength events in here. It is not the right time for promise of military protection. So we're not going to play an event. Did anything come out to make us not want to do our Republic Rebellion? You know, if we weren't going to do rebellion or revolution rebellion here, then what would we do? Upgrade. And take the Louvre. Maybe. Harvard College would still be pretty nice, or I mean, the important things we're looking for: scientific method, maybe journalism. They did not come out. So I think we can get by. Oh, no, sorry. It's right here in front of me. It did come out, and it's right here. I guess just nobody took it. Yeah, nobody took it. So, what could we do? Not research it, because we developed this. So doing the reserves would have let us get into scientific breakthrough. But since we can't do that, wave of nationalism would be nice. Journalism, cavalrymen we don't really need right now. I think we do it. I think we just do the revolution here. And we take some corruption. That's not helpful. Right now. We could do that and then take civil actions. So take a civil action, go down to 12. If we didn't upgrade and we took the civil action, we'd go to 11. It's a little bit, I mean, blue could do an aggression then. I wonder if it's worth doing that just to sort of keep up. Because blue still now can do the war and play classic army. And they would get 19. So there are some text coming out. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this MA here so that I have 2 next turn to defend against any potential war. And then I'm going to switch Saladin over to a civil action. And I think that should be pretty good. And we will have corruption. I mean, that's not the best or worst thing here, I guess. I would love to see a tactic or something.
Red reveals strategic territory. Okay. So we can certainly bid for this. What can we bid? Maybe something like 6? And our strength stays the same. What is the downside? I mean, I guess we draw 3 cards and we spend 2, so hopefully we get something good. We can still defend really easily. I guess the risk is if blue does do a war, we're down a unit. So if we had this unit, we could build, what, 2 more swordsmen, one way or another, and we'd get 4, 7 strength up to 19. And blue, if they have... Yeah, if they have classic army, they would get 19 as well. The other option is they play another rifleman and do the war, and then they would get 3... no, they get 3 plus 3. They get 6, up to 20. But they have a happiness issue, so it's easier said than done for them. The tactic plus a war of territory would be nice. We get to 19. So if we don't bid anything, we get 19. If we do bid something, then we can only get to 14. Because we basically be rebuilding the unit we send plus 1 more unit. And then we would lose 1 yellow token. Other question, would you do the war against me? I mean, red's not in a very good position to get stronger. But they are the player before, and they have a Meiji Castle, so we would almost certainly be the target. And so do we try to get this territory at the risk of being warred on, losing a yellow token, or 5 science? So you lose cartography, more or less. I guess we can build the bread and services too. So yeah, it would only be one. It would only be 1 token, not 2. I think I'm gonna pass on this one because I suspect there might be a better territory coming later. It protects me against war from blue. I don't have a lot of food to be spending over here rebuilding units, and I don't have military actions. So as much as I'd like to bid and draw some cards, because I'm not drawing very many, I think I'm going to pass here. So I would have gotten it for 6. But okay, got it for 5.
And red wins that with a warrior, 2 cards, and an Isabella resource. And then builds a temple with urban growth, takes wave of nationalism and journalism and reserves. Does not elect Gaudi yet. Alright, blue, strongest, plays an event, reveals wealthy territory. So I'm more interested in winning this one than the last one. Still not sure what territory I'd rather have than this. I guess inhabited or developed would be better, or any H2 territory. But I guess we don't know if any of those are in there. So it's probably worth bidding. We also now know that blue's not going to do a war this turn. But they may get stronger, and maybe they take the railroad? But if they don't, then this territory certainly helps. So here we can do what? 6 again? Seems pretty reasonable. I think keeping this defense card's probably important going forward. Blue's probably going to get stronger. If they do, then we're probably going to have to follow suit. We can get 2 population out and build some stuff, or take something. We'll have to see. I wonder if we'll win it with that. So blue last time bid 5 for the last one, which is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how are they going to fix happiness? Organized religion, potentially. They're going to have a hard time creating population or building them. But I guess if they bid something, they'll have 1 happy person back. But they don't really need to rebuild anyway here. So if they bid 3, 5, 7, and we can go to 8 if we wanted to. But that's all, I mean, that's a lot of cards, and we're just not drawing any more cards. So I probably can go to 6 here, I think. You know, if we got the railroad, we might not need to rebuild a unit because we'd be at 15. Okay, so we suspect there might be another territory. Just kind of hedge our bets and split the difference. We'll go up to 7 here. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We got it for 6. So blue just bid 5 again. That's good. So blue upgrades a coal, develops navigation, takes the Eiffel Tower. Now it's our turn. Still no strategy in sight. I don't think that pact works right now. Unless we wanted to make red stronger, potentially. But, or blue, I guess we could make stronger. I don't think blue would take it though. And red might, but I don't think that's what I want to do here. We'll save it. So we have a couple of options. We just won that territory, so we can get one of these 2 wonders. And I'm thinking Harvard College is probably better here. We definitely need the science. I mean, and the culture. We need military as well. But I don't think this helps enough otherwise. Let's look. Actually, we could get architecture too. Yep, that's pretty good. Scientific methods here also. So that's pretty good too. So we could do that for science. Is this the tech we want to be in? Bill Gates and Einstein and Steve Jobs are here, so this is pretty good. Cook is not the leader we want. And journalism's not bad, but we don't really have the population for it. So then 3 actions left. What do we do? Probably want this patriotism. Upgrade those, perhaps. We probably want to get stronger here. Which probably looks like that. I think that's strong enough. So we could, let's see, grab the railroad, maybe even get this. So we can do that. That does not fix our science issues at all, but gets us some resources. And I mean, we have a couple of problems happening right now. Military, definitely, there's some pressure. We don't have military actions. We need to solve that quick. Food is a little bit of a problem. We hope to get selective breeding soon. I think the biggest problem is science, though, more than either of those. Production is okay right now. And there's a few ways to address that here. Harvard College, scientific method, and maybe getting this revolutionary idea. So, I mean, scientific method, you know, is that, and helps with Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Einstein, although computers would be better. We're sort of close to age 3, but not quite. This lets us put another population here if we wanted to, but I don't think that's going to happen soon. We have to put one on bread and circuses pretty soon anyway. Harvard College gives us some flexibility to actually pull a population off a lab if we had to and not impact our science production too much. So if we do this, we can just do that, or we could actually get architecture going, and I kind of seems like a reasonable time to do that. Or instead of architecture, we could get this code of laws out now. Then we have 3 actions left. Well, we need to rebuild this knight, I think. And then we probably want patriotism. At this point, I think we did something for our science, so we can use patriotism instead of revolutionary idea here. And then upgrade that once. That's pretty good. So code of laws or architecture. I think I like architecture here. And then we still have code of laws. We can still get it out later if and as it makes sense to do it. So let's go with this. We're going to not play the patriotism this turn here, so we'll just draw 1 card. And I think I'm going to switch Saladin over to strength. I still don't know what this red event is or what the blue events are. I guess it also just makes us a less attractive target so we can hold on to our card. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll use Saladin for strength this time. And, oh wait, I have a civil action left. Yeah, I should probably use that. Thanks, game. Okay, now have we done everything? Yeah. And red reveals immigration, and blue has 2, so they'll lose a worker. They elect Gaudi, take cannon for 3, develop it, build 1. So that was an expensive cannon for them. Upgrade warrior play tactics, so they are stronger. So they worked really hard to get stronger that time. Blue does play an event, reveals crime wave, and we are the weakest. Blue takes rich land, upgrades to cold, takes cook, and lets him. And plays conquistadors, so he does not have classic army. Just conquistadors. Now it's my turn. And strategy shows up. So I want to just pause for a minute. After I took my last turn, I took Harvard College. I think I was prioritizing fixing science, and the options were Harvard College or scientific method. And I chose Harvard College. And I sort of immediately reconsidered that and sort of wanted to take scientific method instead. And just a quick second on why. So Harvard College is good. I mean, I have a decent number of civil actions, so I can pull yellows and use them. It gives me a little culture, but that's not worth much. It does let me use this population if I need to, if some sort of aggressions happen. So it could be good for that. But scientific method would have been actually a resource cheaper, I believe. It would have given me a science more, same number of civil actions. It does time my population up a little bit, but it saves me a CA later when I take a wonder. And for me, the big thing was having 2 scientific methods really sets us up good for leaders. There's 3, well, 2 at least, that you could take right away, and Jobs is okay. But, you get a Bill Gates with a scientific method, you're good. Also, I would have taken it away from other people, and I thought they would have taken it, but neither one did. Red really wanted to get stronger with that cannon, and blue wanted to get Cook going. They seeded it in an event. You would guess that's a territory. Maybe they were, I don't know, holding autonomous or something and went for cook. They're getting a little bit nervous about culture, maybe, as well. Red's producing a lot right now, and we are falling behind, so they had to get some culture going. So anyway, we'll see how this Harvard College pans out. I think there's ways that it could help, ways the other option could have been useful as well. Well, let's see what this turn looks like. Okay. I mean, we probably have to take this strategy. I mean, we probably have to, right? It's just the chances of us being able to defend both of them are so small without it. It's likely we'll lose these 3 cards, but we can't get Code of Laws and Strategy, and Strategy is just more important right now. So maybe we say goodbye to those. And what else do we want to do this turn? I mean, these military attacks, possibly, but that kind of feels bad. Red can't get too much stronger right now. Blue can't really either. They don't have population or happy faces, so I don't think we have to worry too much about these techs right now. I don't think we want coal. We don't want organized religion, opera, or journalism. So opera is good for Marlena. Journalism is good for Fleming and Einstein. Plus it gets us science and culture. So since we don't have food, maybe we can move labs over to it and get an improvement. And with that architecture, they're a little cheaper. So maybe journalism. And what else do we do? Upgrade that to reserves, because we're going to lose it probably. We can't really increase population unless we don't play this. And we can do that. Build the bread and circuses, or if we don't upgrade the iron, we can do that. We also still have this pact, and I'm not sure this food's going to be that helpful. I mean, it will get us a population in 4 turns. Or if we get selective breeding, it will help with that. It's giving blue a resource, though. And I don't really want to give him 4 resources either. I mean, that pact did help us get this last population out for bread and circuses. So it's good that we had it. We're not playing an event, so it might be a good time to cancel it. This is hard to know, and a little bit of food might come in handy though. I wonder if blue will try to take selective breeding. I think I'm in favor of canceling the pact here. And then we could think about taking the breakthrough here too. But let's see what the of that. You can do this and build that. So you're trying to do that, or try to get 3 extra science and not put the bread and circuses out yet. It doesn't make us. If it made us stronger, it'd be a little more clear that that's what we want to do. But we're not. We'd only be stronger on our turn, and I don't know. Blue may want to get stronger. It at least puts a little pressure on them to do it. I guess the alternative is we use the breakthrough, we get 3 science. It costs 2 civil actions that we might want to spend later. We take journalism and probably play reserves. So we still have to increase pop, build bread and circuses next turn. We're also slightly open to civil unrest coming out, which would not be great if we did play an event on our turn. Which if we're weakest, we may not. Yeah, I mean, these might end up being kind of bad. What could they be? Cold War would be unfortunate. Refugees is not great. Politics of strength is not great. International negotiations is not great. Not much we can do about it though. I mean, the only thing we can do is like destroy a lab and I guess build this in anticipation of copying conquistadors. But I don't know, is this worth it? I don't think it is. I'm gonna go with no. It's not worth it. We're just gonna have to run some risks here at this point. Okay, back to the beginning. So I did cancel the pact still, and I think what I'm going to do here, I think I'm going to do the breakthrough for the 3 science. And then I'm going to take journalism because I think that's important. It does leave opera to red, but there is another opera, so it might be hard to keep it away anyway. It does give it to him for 1, another building, but red doesn't have a lot of resources at the moment. But that might be a problem later. We'll just have to see. And then because reserves corrupts us here, I think I'm just going to upgrade this. And it is possible that reserves will stick around. They don't have a lot of civil actions and their hands are kind of full. It just sort of depends what they try to get done. I mean, blue could end the age on purpose. I guess it would make sense to get rid of my leader and my cards. Yeah, to get rid of my leader is a pretty good incentive for blue to end the age. And then I would lose this reserves, but 3 science is worth more than 2 resources. But it's I guess it's 2 resources and a CA because we're gonna have to spend 2 next turn getting the bread and circuses up. And we have 5 actions left to do stuff like selective breeding, maybe, or get into journalism. Yep. I could really go either way on this one. I think it feels bad leaving this breakthrough here. I think blue's probably going to get it. But I think it just stretches us too thin. So I think we can do that. We take journalism, play this reserves, increase pop, build bread and circuses. So now we have more actions next turn to maybe grab selective breeding, maybe get a leader elected, deal with any sort of military issues that come up. Maybe we'll stay second strongest, put some pressure on blue, increases the chances the age doesn't end, so we save another civil action with switching out our leader. So there's just lots of benefits, I think, to not doing it. It just sort of feels bad to leave it there, but let's do it. And strength, probably. There's a chance we won't get the civil action anyway, and yeah. Well, there's international negotiations. That's That's pretty good. That at least we know it won't come out. It's a red, increases population, develops journalism, takes breakthrough. So he gets that breakthrough we don't take. And blue reveals refugees, which is not good for us. Takes justice system, develops it, takes team sports and develops it and builds one. So it's pretty close to what we thought. And now it's our turn. It's our weakest again. So we might hesitate to play politics here. We could make red stronger, maybe? 26 doesn't really help them, though. We don't really want a territory, I don't think. Yeah, and selective breeding still has not shown up here. So we can't get a population, there's no reserves. What do we want to get rid of? And then what do we want to do on our turn? How much do we care about being stronger right now? We could win international agreement, which could be nice if it's in there. Politics of strength. I mean, it's always nice to get cards. International negotiations we have. Refugees already happened, so Cold War. And getting science would be good. And if Red had Cold War, it would have been nice for them to put that in. But how much do we want to work at being stronger here? You know, if we go this route, we lose this lab, but we could lose the swordsman instead. Copy that tactic. We're 18, so we can defend. We're weakest, but that's probably fine. I think it's not the best, but it's not that bad either. It might be a risk we want to take, just in case the computers does come out. So then I think there's maybe a couple of things we could do. We can do that. And then upgrade this. And then we have 2 left. What do we do? I don't know. We can take some more yellows, efficient upgrade. We could elect Nobel. Another option would be finish this. And then we can't get into journalism, but that gives us a turn to wait and see if a computer pops out first. Then we could grab that. So in the meantime, we could develop code of laws, but then we can't get computers, but maybe I'm okay with that. I mean, then we could elect Nobel, then we can get computers. And we sort of let ourselves be weakest. Blue can't really do a war. Red can't really either. I mean, they sort of could if they thought we wouldn't be able to do anything about it, but I don't know. If we didn't take Nobel, then we leave Napoleon as an option here. And then instead we can efficient upgrade that. I mean, it kind of sucks to use like 2 CAs here at the end of age 2 to get this iron upgraded. But I don't know, maybe it's not too bad. We'll get back 5 or 6 resources from it. So it could be worth it. Yeah, we could, instead of spending that, we could take 2 efficient upgrades that we may use for computers or for professional sports, if we happen to do that. And that doesn't seem too bad either. So what did we do? We got this wonder, so we got some extra yellows, which could be helpful as we get into food or something. Like, it's not immediately clear why this is helpful because we still don't have food to increase population. So we'll get to 3 1 turn sooner. Maybe reserves will help a little bit more. We won't get selective breeding probably. So mechanized ag will get us some population sooner. We'll store up a little more food for Red Cross possibly. We're getting a couple of culture. We can hold off a turn on journalism, keep the labs around. We sort of recognize that we're going to be weaker. And I think I like this better than trying to push Napoleon. So given that, I think I want to put an event in because we're going to stay weakest, so we might as well learn something about the deck. And I think freedom of movement is what I want to put in. So let's go ahead and do it and hope it's not something too bad. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, yeah, we wouldn't have done too much to fix that, I suppose. So we're talking about not upgrading this bronze here. And if we are talking about not upgrading this now's like, I don't know, we have to get it done if we're going to get it done. Too much later and it isn't worth it to do it. So if we could think about actually getting rid of this, I suppose. And then we could copy that and be not, well, I guess just a little stronger. And we still have to take Napoleon to be not weakest. And I'm just still not interested in doing that. The only thing it helps with is Cold War. And I guess if there was going to be a Cold War, it'd be one of these because I suspect blue's not putting Cold Wars in. And it is something that red would put in. I don't know. I just don't want to bank on that by taking Napoleon here. Yeah, I don't know. So if we're not upgrading this, maybe we do this, especially since we just got resources. And now we can finish that. So actually, go to this. So we're at 20, so we'll be at 18. If we didn't do this, we'd be at 16, which is still mostly fine. We can defend that. So if a territory comes out and blue gets it, then we would be probably not stronger for that still. Then we take these 2. So this will let us upgrade the computers if we can do that. Also the agriculture if we can do that. Since we're taking these resources, we don't need this bronze potentially. And we can always, it's a little easier if we need a population later to pull it off of the military and use it over here if we want. I mean, maybe, depends on the situation, I guess. So I think I'm fine with this. I'm also fine with losing the swordsman. I guess the swordsman is 1 resource more valuable, but we get a resource from this. We're still weakest here, so I'm not sure that it buys us too much. Having it there, really? I mean, we're going to be at 18 versus 16. And 16's probably fine. I guess if we have this unit here, we can bid on a territory, which is kind of nice. But we probably won't win it unless we draw some really great colonization cards, and it's the end of H2 still, so we're not getting the really good ones. I guess we can also develop that code of laws still. Just puts computers off a turn. Yeah. I mean, I don't think red is in a position to get into military yet, and blue's going after colonies, it seems. And so they're not doing aggressions. I'll finish that next turn, probably. And so I don't think we need to keep the swordsman here. And I think we can keep some economy here. I think we still finish this. And I think we can actually take Nobel, because I don't think we need to be worried about military too much. We don't need Napoleon. So maybe we'll do something better with our civil actions next turn. And if we do this, we can do Code of Laws and still get computers next time if it comes out. And the last action can be the efficient upgrade for computers, hopefully. We still have patriotism if we need to rebuild something over here. And I think I like this. We will stay weakest. Worst case, we don't get Cold War and we don't draw any more cards, which is not good. But again, not the worst thing either. So I think I like this. So I'm going to end the turn here. And what do we draw? A card. So, I mean, the downside, we didn't keep a unit around to bid with. So we would have to rebuild that, but we probably won't win anyway. So it's not that bad. Yeah, red reveals inhabited territory. Okay. Yeah, we can certainly bid for it. This is the problem, though. We didn't leave a unit to bid for it, so we're pretty open to an aggression if we try to get it. One card's not enough to defend anyway. So we might as well put them both in. Yeah. Let's try it. And blue wins it for 11. Wow. Okay. Sends 2 cards, a rifleman, and a card. Red takes air forces for 3. And then, what, built a journalism, I think? Blue plays an event, reveals, oh, Cold War. Well, that's convenient for us. And then he finishes Eiffel Tower, upgrades to a rifleman, takes military. And then, Bill Gates shows up. There's no computers. Oh, how I want that scientific method. This could be a real game changer for us if we had that. We could get Bill Gates in, get, what would we have? 4 extra resource protection. Oh, if only we had known. So blue has played all of these. We suspect they're probably not strength events. We don't know who played. Can you still tell who played it? I don't know. Although he did, I mean, I guess I have an event, but he did try to get stronger for his events there. So perhaps they are strength events. What would they be? Politics of Strength, International Agreement, Independence Declaration, and that's it. Would Independence Declaration suck? Only a little bit, I guess. Not the biggest problem. We're holding international negotiation. We could put a territory in. Let's see, what does the turn look like? One thing I think is interesting, we have this bronze that we never upgraded. We could upgrade it to an oil. So pretty much pays itself back in one turn almost. And then we can keep upgrading from there. And then after that, we could take some yellows or begin to get food going. So now we can get one population next turn and start doing things. And I kind of like this. We are leaving military buildup, but maybe we just have to do that this time. And making the resources, I mean, that's going to give us a lot more than 10 over time. And I think that's good. I mean, I think I like it. I'm going to go with that, I think. So we can get rid of the raid for sure. And probably territory. Should I try to do promise of military protection? No one's going to want to make me stronger, right? They want to be stronger for the events. Can I make someone else stronger? Maybe red. If I wanted to play for second place here, and red also has a lot of culture despair, and it makes them less interested in attacking me maybe, and more interested in attacking blue potentially. It's potentially nice to hold on to for a different situation later as well. Yeah, we could do promise of military protection with red, make them a little stronger, give us a culture. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not sure why they would accept it. I don't foresee a better use of this right now. I don't know. I can't think of a better time to offer this pact, really. We do it now early, we might get more culture generation. And red won't want to attack us. They're stronger for events. If we happen to get to a point where we can be stronger, we could cancel the pact. I don't know. I don't see a lot of downside in offering it, I suppose. Ooh, red accepts the pact. So that's nice. So they're stronger, and we get some culture. All right, and then I think what we want to do is get into oil. And it seems unlikely we're going to get all three of these upgraded. So if that's the case, upgrading the irons makes more sense here. It's just a little more efficient, and we can pull a population off of the bronze. We want selective breeding. So now the question is, what do we do with the last two actions? So one option, we get a little food for next turn, which we can finally maybe buy some military units or something. We can just discover selective breeding and then freedom of movement into it and upgrade the other oil. So I think in the end, this would give us the most return on oil because we're getting into it the soonest. And we can pull a population off of the bronze next turn if we needed to. And then in this option, we could even not do the selective breeding. Upgrade this, take frugality, so we get 3 food, make up for not getting into selective breeding yet. Now we don't have a target for freedom of movement though, unfortunately. So we could, I mean, what would be freedom of move here? There's just nothing, unfortunately. So this at least gives us a target for that. I mean, we could move a bronze to like a lab, I guess. Or bronze up to bread and circuses, maybe, which would be free, and I guess that helps with Pierre. And I don't know, getting into computers with somebody. I guess it's not hopeless. We could do something with this that would be more useful than being on bronze, arguably. And then maybe even mechanized ag comes out and we don't do selected breeding. Maybe. I think I like. So we do that and then get some food. I think it's a little messy here. I mean, maybe we do that. Then we have more resources to upgrade selected breeding next turn. We also have a way to freedom of move something that's a little more useful. And we don't get that frugality. There's going to be things we want to use our CAs on later, and we're going to get enough food here, I think. So let's go with this. And see how it goes. It seems as though we're not going to raid anybody, right? No one has a lot of actions, so it is possible. We could get stronger. We're going to have food decolonize things, potentially. Well, let's get rid of the raid. I mean, I'm not, it's going to be hard to justify putting in something with Cook there, but maybe he'll get rid of Cook. And then maybe we get satellites. Seems as likely as being able to raid somebody right now. Okay, no computers showed up. So that's good. Now we need no computers next time, and then computers the time after that. And then we'll be in good shape. All right. And then red with the promise of military protection does an aggression against blue. And looks like 29. Like they must have sacrificed a unit with the castle. And they took 7 resources. Develop air forces, take military build-up. Build in air forces, take democracy. And then blue reveals prosperity. So we all get some food, takes reserves, takes revolutionary idea, increases population, develops cannon, takes urban growth. So that was convenient that there was a bunch of yellows there for blue to take when they didn't have resources to do anything. So it's going to be pretty hard to catch up to red. And I mean, there's not going to be a war probably. There's a lot of resources here. And I guess in a couple of turns they'll have democracy. Yeah, so probably want to play for second place. Now there's my event and there's 2 events from blue. So I probably don't want to play an event. So if we skip politics, the internet may actually turn out to be pretty good for us. Yeah, blue gets military theory next turn. So, yeah, I wonder if they're actually in a position to do a war here. Because they can do the war, military theory, and they're up to 24. Then who knows what they're going to do with this cannon. Napoleonic. With reserves, they build 2 cannons, play a tactic, and have 3 Napoleonic armies, which is 3, 6, 8, 15. Plus 5 is 20, so they get to 39. That's very interesting. So maybe we take Manhattan Project? I mean, it's going to get us a decent amount of science here. So maybe it's worth it. Since we don't have... any good military techs, we don't have any good tactics, maybe we just get that as some protection. Because then we get 13, 28, 31 versus 39. It's pretty close. I probably don't want fundamentalism. I want to research journalism. I probably want to do that. And I don't want to play an event because I don't want freedom of movement because I want to be able to move these over to journalism. Yeah, I think so. Even though impact of government would be nice to get in there. So best case, we play an event. It's not freedom of movement, and you know, these cannons might actually just be for arms industry when we look at what blue might have played. I mean, definitely territories. I think arms industry makes good sense. Civil unrest makes sense. International agreement even could. I think Independence Declaration was a no. Terrorism's no. Ravages of Time doesn't seem likely. Iconoclasm doesn't seem likely with Cook. I mean, I don't even know what like absolute worst case is here. I guess it's just politics of strength. I guess Independence Declaration. Seems really unlikely Blue would put that in, but... And then we just lose a happy face, which is not that big of a deal. And sort of, if freedom of movement comes out, worst cases, we upgrade the selective breeding instead of the journalism. But then I still think we can have a constructive turn without it. So it sort of costs us 3 resources for upgrading this over there. But the odds say it is not freedom of movement, and maybe we just take that risk here. There's not a lot of downside. So I think I'm going to try it. Yep, there's that arms industry. Suspected. So we get a couple of resources, and Blue gets 6 resources, which is very nice for them. All the more reason to take Manhattan Project, I think. We're a little bit vulnerable. And then journalism, upgrade. We have an action left. We could increase population just to get it out of the way. But I kind of like doing this also. It's a bit of a gamble, I suppose. Because now with 1720 resources, we can finish this and build 2 units. And that gets us to 31, 35. So we lose by 8. I think it's still a risk for blue to do the war because we have a lot of resources. We have a lot of food for population. He doesn't know what tactics we have or don't have here. We also have Harvard College, so we can always grab things and use them. So I think it's quite risky for blue to try the war here. And we get this upgraded earlier for things like Red Cross. And we can just get more population out for things. I think we're good with this. I don't think I'm going to put in a territory at this point. Well, that's pretty decent tactic for us, actually. So Red revolts into democracy. Builds a cannon up to 36. That's pretty high. Okay, blue reveals civil unrest, which does not hit anybody. Takes Marlena, who just popped out. Elects her. Plays revolutionary idea. Builds military theory. Plays modern army. Interesting. And gets it twice. The antiquated version twice. Okay. So they are also looking for tanks, and if they can upgrade a couple tanks, they'll get 18 more strength. Okay, that's a little frightening. So we need to protect ourselves from that, it would seem. So we're almost certainly going to want that Air Forces. Freedom of movement actually would be pretty fine right now. But getting freedom of movement is helpful here. It gives us 3 culture, and extra science. And international negotiations we could do. Go push it out. I mean, it's not the worst thing. You lose a few points, or a few of something. I think my biggest concern, though, is that I put that in. Red plays an event, probably, because it's their H3 event. And then blue plays an event. So this could come out immediately while I'm still weakest. And then blue can take what they want, which is bad. So I'm leaning towards Impact of Science. It is risky because it could definitely change between now and then. But Red already has journalism. They're not producing a lot of resources. They don't have an easy way to upgrade these and get more reserves or whatever. So it is totally possible, and they could do it. In blue, could easily do it with computers too in urban growth, but they, I don't know, have other things maybe they're focused on. Also, freedom of movement's a little rough for them because they don't have a good way to use it. Red has a good way. Maybe, in fact, Red moves over to journalism and makes computers even less appealing. So I think I'm going to take the gamble with Impact of Science here. So let's play this Impact. A little risky. We're going to take this philosophy, put it on to journalism. Now we can finish this and get 9 culture. And now we're making 7 culture. So that's nice. All right, and then we're going to... Oh, now we can take space flight. That's not the right move, though. Strike Air Forces, modern infantry, increase population, patriotism. Build one. So on the turn, we want shock troops. This war does not seem likely, neither does this aggression. Okay. Oh. Crap. I built a swordsman. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I did not double check that. That is definitely supposed to be a knight. Red plays reserves. Increases population. Plays military buildup. Yikes. Takes reserves and patriotism. Builds an air forces and a swordsman. Takes military theory. Huh. Blue takes space flight. Revolutionary idea. Upgrades a pole. Plays positional army. Disbands a knight. Builds a rifleman. It's up to 54. I don't think we're going to play an event here. Did Red also not play one? Or no? Yeah, they didn't. So they don't have one, or they don't like the looks of this impact. So I guess we also don't like the looks of it. So what can Red do here? Well, they can't get military theory yet. But they build 3 more of these. So it's another 12. 53. Okay. And blue cannot get an air force, so they're a bit tapped out now. I don't think there's a whole lot more they're going to be able to do. So for us, I guess we're going to skip politics. The easiest way to get stronger here is this air forces. I see this swordsman here and it still bugs me. It's supposed to be over here. The tanks didn't come out, so that's, I guess, kind of interesting. This professional sports could be something we look at. And computers is, I mean, really not, I guess it's not bad. But it doesn't help here. I mean, we probably have to get the air forces out. Now we can defend well enough. And then what do we do? But movies is pretty good, I think. For Fleming, I guess only. Anyone else want Fleming? I mean, Red wouldn't mind. And there's another movies, so that would work for them. And then last action, revolutionary idea. So if we try to take this away, a couple of things happen. We don't get revolutionary idea, which I assume Red will take it. If Red doesn't take it, Blue gets it. That's another tech potentially. Also, endowment for the arts stays on the board, which is an easy 6 culture for Blue just with 2 actions. It's going to be on 1. I can't imagine Red's going to take it. Unless they're actually concerned about something catching up, but I don't see that being the case. So they get the 6 culture for that. Versus whatever, 17. So it's 11 culture if they can win impact of science. And I'm kind of doubtful that they can. I mean, this is 6 culture for basically nothing. This, they have to invest all of their resources almost for the rest of the game to get a little more science. it's hard for me to think that that's worth it. And for us, we get Einstein and we win, or we build one more journalism and we win. Blue could, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really see it happening. So I don't really like taking computers here. They're gonna want to make them earn it. I don't want to just give them this endowment for the arts. Plus we get this revolutionary idea. Make sure blue doesn't get it, although I think red would take it. And we have one action left, so really what do? We take movies. I mean, I guess we could not do that. So I think it makes sense to not develop this professional sports yet. We don't need to right now. We may not want to. We can save this science for when we have Nobel Prize or when we're getting culture with Einstein, if that should happen. So what we could do, so we take revolutionary idea and movies, because we want endowment for the arts to go away, so blue can't get it. And we have an action left. And we actually get to save a CA next turn by getting the revolutionary idea out now. So maybe that helps us grab the reserves and right cross and finish it or something like that. But I think this is, at least, I think this is the right move in this position of the game. So let's end this turn. Aggressions aren't happening in international. I mean, international negotiations is almost certainly not happening. What else is not going to happen is this tactic, because we're not going to be getting any rockets. The red destroys a lab, plays wave of nationalism, builds a cannon, plays reserves, increases pop, builds a swordsman, just one though. Takes more resources because they need them, and they're up to 46. That's not good. Blue does what? Plays an event, reveals impact of wonders. Oh, that's good. Nice. Okay. Blue takes rockets and engineering genius, develops rockets, increases population, idea, and gets some cannons. So it's 62. Can I end the game? I think I need to, right? Fast food. I mean, sorry. Red Cross, where are you? So blue has just enough to finish spaceflight, which would be 20 plus probably one more, 23 culture. And Fleming is here with impact of culture. Stage 2 event is kind of annoying now though, but I think blue played it before they really got super strong. Look at those two tanks coming out right at the end. How's impact of science looking? No one took that computers. I think it's hard to imagine someone would play impact of science that early. So maybe we're safe on that, especially if we take this computers. I don't know if we need to go for Fleming here, really. You know, if we end the game, blue's not going to get more culture. So we don't have to worry about impact of culture being beaten on that. So I don't think we need to worry about Fleming here. We could do jobs, maybe, instead of Einstein. We still have the strength problem, though. We're just not strong enough. Steve can get us 15 or so culture. Pierre would be maybe 12. Einstein would be maybe 9. So I think Steve's a good choice. Plus he's at 1 now, so he can save other CAs for later. Now, in terms of playing this event, I think we should. It's pretty close. Again, I don't think Blue's going to overtake us on culture. Red may. We may be able to do something about it. It gets us the 3 points for playing it. Worst case is Politics of Strength comes out. And, you know, if that happens, then it just makes it more likely that it's the worst case. So that's what we're planning for anyway. And if it's a territory, it'd be great to bid for that on our turn. So I think I want to put Impact of Culture in here. And I think I'm going to not end the game. It is Politics of Strength. Interesting. So that was the worst case. So Blue has a bunch more cards. So we gave them 5 cards instead of 5 culture. We didn't lose culture, at least, although we wouldn't have. Red would have lost the culture, which would have been interesting. Maybe gotten us a little closer. So now we're going to give Blue the chance to play 2 more impacts because we're not going to end the game. But I don't think there's a whole lot they can do. So we're going to take Steve, elect him, do this. So now we're not subject to aggressions. We have, so if we take computers and develop professional sports, we'll have 14 resources next turn. So we could rebuild an army here for 9, get another 11. So you get to 71, which is more than they can do anyway. We are going to lose, and I did kind of forget this, but we're going to lose this 1 culture for the pact. Which means Blue could catch up on that if they build a religion, then we'd be tied. And of course, Blue would win that tie, so we need to keep an eye on that. And for the playing Impact of Culture, which, you know, ended up sort of worst case, for that to be valuable, hopefully we draw a better impact or a good impact with our 2 remaining military actions here. Okay, so hopefully I haven't missed something too important. And we'll end the turn. We are going to lose these cards, so maybe, yeah, no, nothing's going to happen on Red's turn. Okay. Let's see. Oh, right. Yeah, that's sort of like another part of, I was waiting for the military cards to show up, but yeah, Politics of Strength means I don't draw any cards. So that was kind of silly to think that I might get them. So it makes the worst case even more worst case, unfortunately. Okay, so Red cancels the pact, which is just kind of interesting because it would have canceled after his turn anyway. But that, then elects Pierre. Okay. Please patriotism, increases population, builds a cannon, destroys the lab, builds the swordsman, develops military theory. That gets them 1 stronger. And then the agents, and Blue does play an event and reveals Impact of Happiness. Interesting. Okay, so that's not good for us, unfortunately. But at least we don't have to try to fix it in the last turn anymore. Let's take mechanized agriculture, develops it, builds a stage, takes tanks, and space for the stage of that. Okay, so this, what does that mean? Impact of agriculture. I mean, we're fine for that. Impact of balance. We're good for that. Maybe just building a stage of Red Cross could be a thing. He did forfeit the Nobel Prize, though, for that. But he maybe didn't have enough actions for all of it. Yeah, so the impact of happiness was not timed well. We would have liked that to come out later. But blue did play an event and they weren't strongest. Might mean this is impact of strength, but also this event might have been worth it, I guess. And the risk that, you know, impact, I mean, he would still get 7 for impact of strength, and he wasn't improving strength, so it didn't make a difference, and he could have gotten it out before I improved my strength, potentially. So it doesn't probably mean too much there. The way the wonders worked out, we can take this and build 4 stages, which means red can build a stage. And I wonder if actually we could beat him on impact of culture in the last round. I mean, he's going to build another bread and circuses, so he'll be at 14. Depending on where he takes it from. Let me think about that for a sec. I think there is actually a chance that we can win impact of culture and impact of science next turn. I think we can get up to 15 culture. We can get 2 movies and a religion. I think we can do it. We would have to weaken ourselves here. And then just sort of hope that impact of strength isn't in there. You know, otherwise we're speculating that it is. But we definitely have to do that. We definitely have to build 3 stages. If we don't build the last stage, is there anything we can do? I don't think there really is. We're gonna have 27 science, unfortunately. Which means we cannot get all 3 of these. We'll only be able to get 2. We'll have 24 resources. So each movie is 19. Or sorry, 9. So 18. 3 for this is 21. Then 2 resources to develop something. So we'd have 1 resource left. For whatever. Yeah, so that's that. So we lose 2 and then get 3 happy faces and increase population 1 time. So I actually have too much food right now. So there's really nothing else productive we can do with this action other than build 1 more stage. It's funny, this 2 food we don't have for the action to get this out. This game could be close enough where that costs us the game. Just depending on what events are there, I think we can actually get really close, and that 6 is a 12-point swing between red and I, assuming he finishes it. And red is not putting an event in, an impact, so who knows. I think we did make a mistake last time playing that impact. Worst case was politics of strength, and I think I was stuck on us ending the game, ending the age that turn, which meant we had to play that to get it out if we wanted 1 more. But since we were having 2 more turns, we could have actually held it and then saw if we draw another impact out of the other 2, and we still had 2 turns to play them. So that all could have worked out a little better. We'd have 2 more cards and maybe a little more information, another good impact to play, but unfortunately, as it stands, we don't. One thing to be potentially aware of is we're down by 3 from red, and we can't defend if he sacrifices this tank. And he has more than 1 reason to do that. He gets 3 culture for it. He gets his token back in here, so he doesn't have to fix his happiness. And he might get something from me. But I guess regardless, I mean, he is his Pierre. He just elected him. He's going to do the Olympics for 8. So I don't think that this is really much of a risk. We'll see. So red reveals impact of strength. So happiness and strength were in there. So those were definitely part of the worst case for us. Then he does finish my Red Cross, destroys a bronze, builds an arena. Plays reserves, destroys another bronze, builds another arena. Takes satellites. So I don't think I can touch him on impact of culture here, unfortunately. And blue reveals impact of science. It's good for us, but we knew that was going to happen. They finish space flight, increase pot, build a temple. Okay, so I don't think it has worked out for us to catch up to red. Something pretty miraculous would have to happen here. But I think we're in a pretty good place against blue. I don't think that there are any other impacts that would be that bad for us. Impact of competition is something. Agriculture is something. But I don't think there's a whole lot else. So our turn is going to be, well, we don't need to be stronger anymore for anything either. So I don't think there's a good reason to keep these over here. We can rebalance for harmony a little bit. Which, you know, could have been something actually that blue just did. And that would, yeah, so you do that. So what does blue have? 5 on each? Yeah. So we can get to 4 at least, I think. So we're gonna develop that. And I don't know, something else. Doesn't really matter which one. This is gonna be resources. We're gonna increase population. We're gonna build a movies. So we got Nobel. We have 3 over here. 4. And then, yeah, we're not gonna get the culture thing. We can pull another one down. I have 5. We know, let's see, what impacts do we know are not in? Industry and agriculture both could be. And we build the bread and circuits. So now we are completely balanced for harmony. We improved a little bit for impact of balance, right? No, it's the same still because we only have 6 science. It's probably about the best we can do unless we didn't build this other movies. And I don't know if that's really worth it. It would be like one of those lab and agriculture. Just because it's 1 culture, 1 extra science. Is that worth anything? No, not really. So we might get 2 more for variety. Well, I guess this is worth something for balance. That was the whole point. And then, unfortunately, at this point, I had to stop recording. And then apparently I finished the turn and watched all the impacts while I wasn't recording, so I don't have those. Sorry about that. That kind of sucks. But this was how the turn ended up. The philosophy and the religion helped with balance and variety, but the philosophy didn't help with impact of science. We didn't need that. And I was already good on balance and variety against blue. They couldn't catch up with those. The movies did give more culture, just like straight up culture, but we didn't need that for impact of culture. So instead, here I went with the arenas and the modern infantry to make up some ground against blue on impact of competition. And with that, this is where the scores ended up. So we did manage to get second place. We're about 28 points behind first. So definitely a couple of changes along the way. Could have actually made it possible to pull into first, but we did manage to get second place. So I think that is a very reasonable result for this game. And I did manage to record a little bit of commentary after the game, so let's listen to that now, and then we'll take a look at the standings. You know, we did that revolution into Republic pretty early in Age 2, and then we didn't get a good tactic for a long time. So we copied this conquistadors and then just never got off of it. Luckily, that swordsman we built on accident didn't really come back to haunt us too much. The Manhattan Project helped. We got into the early oil, which is something I don't often do, but I think it seemed to help here. Yeah, and Red had Himeji Castle in St. Pete's pretty early, getting a lot of culture there. And then Gaudi, with a lot of buildings, was giving a lot of culture. And just had a lot of units on military too. So it's pretty military heavy on Red, and then just did enough here to generate that culture also. So it's pretty good. And yeah, Blue took the really early Marlena and then tried to transition into military. Went from modern army to positional army, and then just could never quite close the door on that military. Couldn't quite do it. I guess Blue didn't get air forces, which was super helpful. We were able to get that the turn after they ramped up on military. So that was good. So let's take a look at the standings after this game. So we have completed 3 games. We've won 2 and gotten second once, so we have 12 points. And the red player from our last game has finished 4 games. First to second, 2 firsts, a second, and a third, so they have 12 points also. So we're tied in points, but I have not completed as many games yet. So hopefully with our 4th game, we can get some points and get into first. And then Ricicle, I hope I say that right. I hate trying to pronounce names. Is completed 4 games, 11. Blixelt is 4th, and IirionClaus, who is blue in this game, is currently has 2 points in 5th place, a second and 2/3. So far things are going pretty well. Let's hope we can keep it up in the 4th game. So we'll see you there. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.